Welcome to the KC Stars, where we talk to people in the local film community. And I have with me Megan Reynolds, who is a director, actor, um,
It's
film,
all.
theater, improver, stage director, everything under the sun. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself a little better than I did.
Sure. I don't know about better, but yes, my name is Megan Reynolds. I am a teacher by day, actor by night, is how I kind of like to explain it. But I have just a lot of experience in a lot of different things. Graduated from K-State with my bachelors in both theater and Spanish and moved here during the pandemic. I don't recommend it. It wasn't a good time. Uh, but now that I'm here, I've been getting my hands into lots of different projects, stage, film, voiceover, you name it.
Well,
It's been a
very
good
good.
time.
And just in case, your microphone has a little touch to it. I don't know if there's anything you can do, but um,
Mhm.
just in
Let's
case there
see.
is. I was going to let you do that, and I apologize interrupting your train of thought.
No, no worries at all. Is that better?
Yes, that is. So what do you teach? And don't say
Sorry,
Spanish or
just a
theater.
sec since I'm switching all my. How's that?
That's great. Thank you. Do you teach Spanish theater?
Okay.
That's my guess.
I'm certified. Yeah. I'm certified to teach both, but I've been teaching Spanish majoritively for the last 12 years.
Very cool. How did you get started in acting?
Ooh. Um, Gosh, young, very young. Whether it was school plays, I went to a school where every grade, like pre-K through eighth, did like a show on a Friday assembly for the school. And so like just performing and public speaking was inherent in how they approached education, which I'm pretty passionate about now. Um, I joined a show choir in like second grade that did performances all over Topeka, all over um, the city, did different types of performances, and then a lot through school, through community groups, community theater, and then eventually through college and beyond.
Wow. So you're from Topeka originally?
I am.
Yeah. Have you recognized anyone else on the show from Topeka?
I'm scrolling through my memory. I don't think so.
Okay.
But there are a lot of people that I have interacted with either in the city or outside of it that like you cross paths eventually.
Yeah,
It's kind of cool
I guess
actually.
I'm treating Topeka like it has 2,000 people in it. So
I
I
mean,
guess
it has a few more than that. I think my high school had more than 2,000 students in it. But no, it very much reminds me of what they would talk about in the first kind of day to semester for theater majors at K-State,
Oh yeah.
where they were like, hey, look around the room. These are going to be the people that you're working with. Don't burn bridges. Be someone people want to work with.
That's awesome.
And out of a lot of things, that has definitely stuck because I've come back full circle after starting my education career. And now I'm getting back into the other. And so many like people I went to college with, I'm now reconnecting with and working with. So
Wow.
it's very true.
So yeah, I was thinking of Lauren Smith. I think she's from Topeka and she would have been
Oh,
involved
okay, yeah.
in theater right at the same time as you, but maybe a year, could be a year or two difference or something. So
It might be. And there's like a bajillion high schools in Topeka too. So,
okay, okay. So there's not just one high school that 2,000 people live in the town and there's 40 kids in each grade or something, I guess. So
no, there's a few other towns in Kansas that'd be true for, but not
yeah.
Topeka.
No, actually, I respect Topeka. I've been there. It's actually beautiful. I saw the Capitol before. It's
Oh,
actually a
yeah,
beautiful city. Are you on the Kansas side now or the Missouri side? Just out of
I
curiosity.
am. I'm on the Kansas side.
Yeah, I figure like a lot of people like from Missouri, like Springfield or somewhere,
Hmm.
or Wichita and the Kansas side. Most people stay in their side. Like I am from Kansas.
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah.
And actually, if you've been down to the Capitol, you would have seen my high school because it's like a block or
Oh,
two to
is
the
it?
west. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
looks like a
stayed at
giant
that
church.
Cyrus Hotel or something one
Oh,
time.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, actually in the
Yeah.
last
No,
year.
I've definitely seen that with just like it's so common in Kansas City to like drive to whatever job you're going to,
Hmm.
but where people live does tend to stay in one or the other.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of people. Um, tell me like your experience because you are not just an actor.
Hmm.
You have a variety. Like, what other things do you do, and like
Yeah.
what projects have you worked on?
For sure. I have background in show choir. I have background in just like like collegiate choral ensembles, like chamber choir ensembles. I did that at K-State and did non-major vocal lessons while I was there as well. So did juries and all that. K-State actually has an a cappella ensemble in a chord that I was in the first year of because it was a kind of a student thing to
Wow.
get it up off the ground, and that's been fun to see that keep going. I work for the Murder Mystery Company here in Kansas City. I mean, they're a national company, but we do script structured with improv kind of involved with it, murder mystery events for hire. So we do the four state area, and we're actually in our busy season right now. So I don't think I have a weekend in December where I'm not traveling somewhere to go do those. And those are fun because it's a lot of you don't know where you're going to be. You don't know what the setup's going to be like. You just kind of come in and like set up the show and do the show in lots of different environments with lots of different people. I do standardized patient work. So I do improv work for the hospitals, doing portraying loved ones or patients to train nurses, doctors, medical personnel. So that involves a lot of just memorization and it's a nice little overlap between education and performance. I've done some recent voiceover work, particularly the Visit Kansas City um, Legacy Trails that they did, where it's like a guided audiobook tour. So I did the voiceover for most of the European tour or trail for that. I've done stage. Recently, I was in Gulag Girls a couple years ago for KC Fringe Festival, and then I've done some productions over at Whim Productions, and then this last summer co-directed, co-produced Sticks and Stones for KC Fringe, which you've had Shannon Rousseau on here. She was our main lead for that show. And
That's
it was a
awesome.
really, really powerful production. So yeah, just a lot of everything. And then in terms of film, anything from, doing extra work to performing to working with sound to now writing and directing a feature film with Tanner Smith, who I've worked with on several projects now. And
Well, you know everybody I've met with then, so you know everybody who's been
pretty
on here.
much. Like I was going through the list, I'm like, yep, yep, yep. I did haunt acting with Dalton.
Yeah,
I love being a scare actor. It's fun.
very cool. Hey, I have some questions before you say much more because otherwise all these pictures you're going to say, yeah, that's it. So, what is this?
Oh yeah. This is teaching a long game. So this is the feature that we just finished. That's the uh, full cast there. The woman there on the far right is Emily Sanderlin, who was a lead with me on that. Worked on this with Tanner. He wrote a story treatment for it. So the story itself actually came from ideas and experiences that he had. And then he
Okay,
knew I was a teacher, so he sent it to me and was like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And I'm like, immediately no. Like,
that's
not
funny.
as in no, it was bad, but just as a teacher, I was like, "Oh no, it would definitely be this," and "Oh, they would say this," and "No, children don't talk like this." And so it was just, he gave me the rough story and I kind of ran with it because it's my lived experience. And I had the privilege of casting several former students in here as well, several of which have now gone on to college and are studying various things. So
Well, now I'm looking at this. Is this a feature film or a short film?
it is. It's a
Feature
feature
film.
film. Hmm.
Well, very cool. Do you know when it'll be out? Well, I guess it is. It's
Um, it is. So we got into the London Liftoff Festival. It's making its rounds through the festival circuit. You can, while it's participating in the festival, I believe this month, you can rent it online. And after we go through the festival circuit, we'll get into distributing it maybe online or things like that.
very cool. And who is this scary person here?
Yes. So this is what I do for, fun, apparently. So this is a good picture. I went to a uh like live action how do I describe this? Like it's Vampire the Masquerade. So it's kind of like D&D, but like it's a different game. And they did an event where they had like a live action role play event that was very immersive and in true queer fashion, I embraced the vampire trope. So
Excellent, excellent. I liked it. I thought maybe you were a real vampire, so I was surprised you actually showed up. But that's great.
this isn't a mirror, so it
Yeah,
works.
okay. What do we have here?
Yes. This is so if it's not already immediately apparent, all my friends are super nerdy. And so we go to Ren Fair or Renaissance Festival pretty much every year, and we like to dress up and cosplay. So I was a wood elf for that round, although it's a terrible picture because I'm holding that bow. My if you can tell, there's no string anymore.
Yeah, that's why
Like the
your
string to
fingers
the
are.
bow broke, so I'm having to
Yeah.
hold the arrow the wrong way.
Yeah, it's because you don't have like it's kind of like sometimes you got to have a little resistance to keep you honest, but I still like
A
it.
little bit, yeah.
I still like it.
It's a good picture though.
What do we have here?
Oh yeah. So this was part of a church I used to be involved with when I lived in Manhattan, and they had really big like summer programs for kids. And so I ended up like going in and not only adjusting scripts and things from like what they're provided to make it even better and like so they would have some videos that were animated and or that they had produced and so we would just show the video and so instead I would take their video and ask for their internal scripts and then I would cast high schoolers in the roles and we would do it live instead.
Very cool.
And so I got a lot of students involved. It was a big production. It was a lot of fun. This one was clearly video game themed.
Well, that is very cool. Hmm.
Ah
Who's
yes,
this
scare
lovely
acting.
lady?
Oh, don't tell Calista that. Yes, so this was the haunt this year that I've worked at in Bonner, which is a lot of fun.
That is
And this
super
particular,
scary looking, by the way. That is really scary just because the teeth go so far back and the
yep.
teeth is huge. That is like super scary.
Yeah, the makeup artists, Jackie particularly, that they have working out there are just phenomenal. All of them. I've worked with so many great ones out there. Shy, they do a great job with the makeup, I will say. It does help that we are crawling around the woods in the middle of the night, like you're out in the middle of nowhere because it's out on the campus of Zip KC. So
Yeah.
it's actually in the woods. You hear trains in the background. It's the whole thing. But I was the dark ringleader of the Twisted Carnival this year, so I
And
got to
that's
play around.
it's basically like instead of a haunted house, it's a haunted forest. Is that my understanding? Is that right?
Pretty much, yeah. It's a haunted trail, and so the trail goes through kind of the forest, and then it dumps out at the Twisted Carnival, which was kind of the way I treated it was. you're out of the forest, so like, "Ah, you got nothing to worry about, probably." So it was very this mix of like I was kind of this like showman persona, but then some of the interactions I would have one-on-one with people were a little creepy.
That's
More than a little
hilarious.
creepy.
That's
Have I
hilarious.
mentioned that I get typecast as either sociopaths or the caring confidant? Like one of the two. So I'm either teacher, mentor, sister, mom, whatever, or I'm absolutely terrible.
I like it. I like it. Okay. I like it. Hey, there's two things though, and they're both very different. One person you trust, one you shouldn't.
Yes, which is what makes it fun,
Yeah.
right?
Well, here we go. I
Oh,
trust you in this. I
yes.
trust you in this one.
Oh, that's probably, yeah, that's fair. This is a picture for one of the many murder mysteries I've done with a friend of mine, Ivy. And so this one was in Omaha because we do the four-state area. So I was playing the flinch maid. I don't know. Let's see. That was Mary Kate, and so I was playing Maid Ooh La La. And then Ivy was Mary Kate and Ashley, the clumsy production assistant.
Excellent.
Ugh,
Excellent.
so fun.
Well, we got a couple more.
Oh,
What is this?
Trish. Yes. So this was part of kissing in the grocery store. One thing I've definitely gotten involved with a lot, not really initially by trying, and now uh I've found I really enjoy it, is new works and new plays and being a part of that process for those to be produced for the first time. And so this one was a world premiere production of this play written by Claire. Um, and I was playing the mom to the central character there, Q, played by Trish. So this was a throwback. It was jump back in time when the
Hmm,
main character was in junior high. And so they're upset that their best friend doesn't want to hang out anymore, and mom comes in to assure them that they are loved.
that's good. Yeah, that's you're the nice person in that one. Okay.
Yeah, see, caring confidant, like nice, just very real, genuine, loving, and then other things. Yay, more murder mystery. Yes.
I
So
couldn't
this
even
was
tell what these
our
pictures were, so there's a mystery to me as well. These murder mysteries.
Yeah, this is from our 80s show. So you've got the Devo hat, the MTV shirts, whatnot, interviewing. Because for ours, the audience members, we cast them to play suspects. So they have binders there that help them know like who they are and what's happened and what, information that they have. But it's up to the leads to basically have conversations with them in front of everyone to get the information they know needs to get out. So it's improv tactics, both to riff and have fun, but also to tell the story.
Yeah, that's interesting. You went to college and you studied theater, and I
Mhm.
looked through all your photos. So you learned Spanish and you went to other countries and learned Spanish on wonderful
I
trips.
did. Yes.
What's next for you?
Ooh. Um, for me, it's something I've thought about quite a bit here in the last year or two. Um, I don't think it's any secret that working in education is challenging right now. It's a lot. I love what I do. I love teaching. I've taught K through 12, but I'm working with middle schoolers specifically right now. And the job of teaching is very different than it used to be. And so there are times when I think, I wish I had the availability to like audition for more things like more feature films and things like that, where my availability is just like wide open to
Yeah,
pop up and travel to LA or whatever. But the more that I, talk to friends, the more that I even see what people are struggling with collectively online is it's hard to make a living right now too. And I think for me, that balance right now of having the job that does give me some flexibility and does have like summers unpaid, but summers off to do some of these things, that structure to set me up to be able to then be creative and do what I can do. Um, it's a trade-off. And I think a lot of us as artists are really struggling with that trade-off of do I jump into things full time and not have healthcare?
Yeah.
Or really struggle to make ends meet? Do I do a job where I make a lot of money and then I have no flexibility in time for these other things? And for me, the smartest thing that I did was when I was looking for a new school after I moved from Manhattan was to aim for Kansas City because I knew I wanted more opportunity with theater and film and performance and directing. And realizing that as much as it can confuse some of my fellow, colleagues on the education side because they go home and they're exhausted, and I am too, but doing all this other stuff gives me something to want to go home to and gives me this outlet of creative expression that I have discovered I desperately need as a person. And then it makes me want to go back to work. So for me, it's been in the balance. And so I don't see that structure changing super recently, or super soon, but I am excited for getting more and more involved in different projects. I'm always auditioning, like always auditioning, as you do. I'll be directing at for the Bell Road Barn Players in the spring for Lend Me a Soprano, which will be a lot of fun. I'm currently writing a new short that I want to get filmed sometime in the spring or summer. So yeah, doing more writing, doing more directing. Um, I really want to get into more voiceover. I've had a lot of people tell me I need to be working on that end too. So just whatever projects I want to pursue. That's kind of the freedom of this point.
Something that's interesting. I had looked before. I like maps that give guidance to me, and they
Yeah.
had the most depressed states. And I'm just going to say West Virginia because that was the number one. And then they had the states where people worked the most hours. The maps almost lined up. They weren't exact, but West Virginia was one or two. And
Yeah.
it almost lined up that the more hours we work,
Yeah.
the depression was higher. Like the state, I'm saying it's a general thing,
Right.
because I'm sure there's some people work a lot of hours
Oh,
and are
for
wonderful.
sure.
But I think what you have is perfect. I I got wiser talking to Nicole Hall. And by the way, that's
Hmm.
probably not something you hear every day. No, just kidding. No, but she was
Nicole Hall
talking.
in the comment section. Excuse me, sir.
No, no, actually, I really, really like her. And I just know her
I
from
love her
this,
too.
basically.
She just does not pull punches with her
I
opinions.
love it. I love it. Well, one of the things we were talking about was, like, do you want more, basically? And she kind of said what you did. Like, I wanted to do this forever, and now I have a job, so I can
Yeah.
afford to do it. And
Right.
that's kind of what I'm doing. I have a job, so I can
Yeah.
afford to do this, and my job's unique, where I have a little more free time at times than other people. Though it
Yeah.
doesn't seem to work out like the week that I need the project to be, but it still does
Right.
occasionally work out perfect. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's true. I think like you work, and some people can work as entertainers and
Hmm.
actually make a living at it. I think it's hard, but they're able to do it, and they truly are doing what they love.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us, we're working our regular job, and then we're doing it as something that we love to do. So
Definitely.
you,
No,
you've,
I 100% agree.
yeah. So hopefully I'll be able to quote you someday for the wisdom you've.
Hey.
Um, what have you learned um,
Ooh.
doing this? Because you did move from Topeka to Manhattan to Kansas City, and there is a huge difference in the size of Kansas City, the scope from those two places. What have you learned since you moved here doing
That's
acting?
true. Um, I have learned a few things. I would say one of the biggest things I think has been just confidence. And I think, you know, I think people may not say that initially, like when they move to like a bigger pool, a bigger market in comparison, things like that. But what my experience has been pretty rapid growth, particularly like in, how do I put this? I took classes with Andy Garrison at Actor Trading Studio. I love him to death. And one of the things that I had told him of what I was looking for was I know that I have talent. I know that I am good at this. I know I'm meant to do this. I know that, you don't get to do a whole lot else in your first 5 years teaching. So it just been so long since I've been developing that skill. It's like, I know I have rough areas. I know I have areas where I could grow, and I need somebody to purposely point those out and like help me do that. Like the stuff I can't just do on my own. And he very much embraced that, finding everything he could to challenge me. And that was really helpful. Plus, doing murder mystery, just getting me out and performing a lot. I think I really came into my own like pretty quickly because I just had good variety, good opportunities, good experience, and good people around me to help me step into the actor that I already was, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
It
I think,
was
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it was less learning new things for the first time, although there were some things because I'm always learning, but it was more actually practicing them and like getting the reps in and seeing like, oh, no, I have been doing this. I can do this. I am competitive, basically, that I have something to bring to the table.
I have a question, Megan. And I think I know your answer from what you just said about Andy Garrison.
I love him so much.
Do you, do you like want to work on your strongest areas? Like, let's say you make a great sociopath or a great confidant, really work
Hmm.
on honing those because that's your best chance.
Hmm.
You want to work on improving those, or would you rather work on, I want to work on being something different, the love interest, the angry person who, I don't know, something different.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of wisdom in really honing, like, so it's a like strengths finder mindset of
Yes.
here are my strengths, so I want to work on those specifically because those are what are going to set me apart from other people. And I think there's wisdom to that. But I also think it relies a lot on the projects that come, and it relies a lot on what you want to be doing and spending all your time in. And I think sometimes we lose sight of just how valuable the, jack of all trades mentality can be and is. And so for me, no, I don't want to get stuck in those things. I want to develop them. I know I'm already good at them and I enjoy doing them, but I don't want those two things to be the only things that I'm doing. Because I know I can do more.
Gotcha. So you might be good at those, but you might be good at other things as well.
How do you know if you don't try?
Yeah, excellent. Um, it sounds like you do so much. Do you have any free time? Like, do you do anything in your free time?
Do you sleep?
Yeah.
Um, believe it or not, yes. A lot of it's seasonal. So there's always something else. It just depends on what the else is. So October is all scare acting or murder mystery. November into December ends up being mostly murder mystery because that's our busy season. I'll take more standardized patient gigs usually in like the summer and then like the beginnings and ends of the years because they'll just have more cases. Summer is often for projects that I really want to do, like say Fringe or things that just the amount of time during the day isn't going to be possible while being at school. And so all the other time frames that aren't those things, or that I am not cast in it, I'm looking to be cast in a show or direct a show or get involved in a film project. It's using the time that I have as wisely as I can to get as much out of it as I can. But this is basically my free time for the most
Excellent.
part.
Excellent. Your free time is talking to me right now, so that's great.
That's right.
Um, so Megan, tell me your writing process. What is your process when you go to write something?
Um, I think it's an interesting question because my initial reaction was, I don't know if there is a process. I think it just sort of dumps out and I have to then organize it. But the more I think about it, the more I really focus on there's gotta, I mean, the basic things. There's gotta be kind of a clear beginning, middle, and end. There's gotta be, that central conflict of whatever story it is that I'm telling.
So do you start with the beginning, middle, and end in mind before you write your first word?
Mm. I think it depends on where the idea came from. So for teaching a long game, I didn't know what the end of that was going to look like as much as I did the beginning and the middle.
Okay.
And so then as I fleshed those out and as the characters in the beginning and middle fleshed out, it really informed what the end looked like. So there are some times where it's the end, like that I really know this is the story I'm wanting to tell, but I don't know how we got here. And so then that's the part that I'm having to focus on. So the idea comes from wherever it comes from, and it might be for a particular conflict or character or whatever story I'm wanting to tell, but it rarely comes with like all of it completely there. So then I think it's just a discovery process of the pieces that you're missing.
What about like, do you know about the number of characters you're going to have? Like, I'm going to have John, and he's going to be a pain in the rear, and I'm going to have Susan, and she's going to be a hopeless romantic, and I'm going to have like, do you write the characters down, or do you just add them as needed? Like, how do you do it?
That's a really good question. I think it depends on the story. I will tell you that for teaching the long game, we had like I had it written with like certain characters in mind, but it was just missing something, and I wasn't really sure what it was yet. And we held auditions, particularly for the high school roles. And so I had a lot of both former students and just current high schoolers or close to that age audition. And the more that I thought about it, and particularly the more I was reminded of individual students that I had had in my classrooms, I was like, oh God, no, we don't have the quiet introvert that just does what they're supposed to and then just randomly has the brutal one-liner of like, maybe if you made better choices, we wouldn't be in this position. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, that's missing. There was some like almost sibling rivalry energy that was missing. And so we added characters after we held auditions because we're like, oh no, but that's energy we're missing. And so we
Awesome.
actually took side roles and spread them apart and expanded them.
I love it. Organized chaos.
Oh yeah,
I
that
mean, that's beautiful though.
I
Beautiful
need
that you
like the
can,
rainbow,
yeah.
organized chaos.
I like it though, because it's like, okay, we're done, we're ready to cast it, and then you start casting it and you think we can make it better.
Mistakes about,
Not too
yeah, we can
late.
make it
Not too
better.
late.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like that's a lot of my life is I love this gets me into trouble sometimes, particularly working in schools, where I see things and I'm like, but why are we doing it that way when we could do it this, but we could make this better. Like,
Yeah.
we could, how about we make it better?
And sometimes they don't like to hear that it from
Sometimes they don't
parents.
want to
Yeah.
make it better. Sometimes they're like, no, it just is what it is and accept it. And I have a hard time doing that, and it gets me in trouble.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything you're writing right now?
I do.
What is it without giving away too much?
Um, it is a, how do I not give away too much? It is
You can give away as
a,
much as you want. I just don't want you to give away an idea and then
no,
2 months later somebody writes the identical thing,
no,
but it's
I get it.
okay.
For this one, I very seriously doubt that that will happen, but I
Okay, okay.
appreciate the thought. It is it's a short, and it is kind of cataloging the experience of the main character in like lots of different moments, throughout like adolescence, particularly. And it's POV. So that's the part that I'm doing a lot of researching and things of
Okay.
it really needs to be shot from like the perspective of the main character. But I think doing so, it will be a really powerful look into the experience of some people, that I don't think we have anyone telling that story right now.
Excellent. And most of your stuff, is it about like adolescents, like high school age kids? Is that who you work with right now? And is that kind of
It
your
is.
focus?
Yeah, I'm in the middle school range. And secondary has really been my sweet spot, that like 6 to 9 or 10 grade, middle school and high school. But no, not all of the stories that I tell or that I am a part of do. The ones that are publicly online, particularly like there are some roles where I know accepting it. Well, like Gulag Girls, 2 summers ago, I was a like Russian prison matron that legitimately abused her prisoners for her own enjoyment. And I had students that were like, "Oh my God, we have to come see your show." And I made them like record a video of me on their cell phone to show their parents of like, "I love that for you. Here's your content warning. I need you to understand I'm actor, not teacher." And for the most part, the high schoolers are really good at that. But
Yeah.
I think I tell a lot of stories about adolescence, not only because I work with them, so it's in front of my face more closer than I want sometimes. Because there's no personal boundaries, not existed. Like they just be right here and cough in your face. I'm like, did you? But I think also just because that was such a important time frame for me as well, growing up, which is why I'm a teacher. And so it makes sense. I really love coaching. I really love, and maybe that's the make it better in me. That's something I've actually been thinking about getting into and doing more, is more professional like acting coaching for particularly high school age, young adults, maybe bleeding into that early college age, but even adults.
Up to
Uh,
57, I hope.
hey, I'm down. Like really, like I love seeing what people bring, and I get really excited about finding, okay, here's the threads or here's the things that we can do to take it just to that next level. It's really fun for me.
Are you involved in the theater department at all at the school, or is it just Spanish only?
At this point, it is just Spanish only because there's um another full-time teacher that does theater, speech theater, because Kansas combines it. So for Kansas, the license is speech, like public speaking theater. And
Oh,
so they're usually a full-time position because of that combination, because schools are required to offer communication arts, speech, and then they get to do the theater as well. But that doesn't mean that I can't and am not involved. This will be this is my second year at the building I'm at. So I am good friends with the theater teacher. We talk a lot. Um, but I really try to not step on toes because I know how that I would feel if I were in that position and someone just is like, hey,
we can do
because it
it
really is
better.
there. Right. No, seriously. Like, things I've learned a lot more tact in my 30s, that I lacked in my 20s, because I'm like, this is dumb. Why can't we do it better? And then
Yeah.
people didn't like that. And I'm like, whoops, I didn't mean it in that way. Because I truly didn't. Like, I just didn't think about. how that sounded, I was just like, oh my gosh, and I know how to do that. So then I could help you and we could do it together and it would be great.
Yeah.
And then I got people overwhelmed.
Well, hey, where can we see your work that you've written, directed, or acted in?
Yeah. So currently working on a website. Hopefully that'll be up here soon. But there's definitely on social media clips of things that I've done. Um, you're gonna see more of the directing side with Bell Road with Lend Me a Soprano this spring. We'll have auditions in April and start rehearsals in April. So that'll be a lot of fun.
What
Teaching
kind
the
of movie
long
is
game
that?
as well.
What kind of movie is that?
Uh, it's stage. It's
Oh, stage.
a
Okay.
stage play musical that they're producing over there. So gonna get to do that. I worked on Exiled and MS My Story with Tanner.
Hey, tell me what you
Um,
did for those. I have one
yeah,
scene, very short scenes in both of those, so I didn't know if you had uh, a bigger role or a small role. Just what did you have there?
yeah, no. Basically, at this point, Tanner will message me, but like, hey, there's a scene in a school. You free? And I'm like, yeah, okay. And it for Exiled, it started out being they just needed a classroom for 2 hours to be in, like just nondescript classroom. And then I don't remember if someone didn't show up or if they were like, oh, we need someone to do this, and then they can't do it because they're this other character. So I ended up playing the principal, that is like kind of grilling. Oh my God, Airden! Yeah. Is grilling Airden's character on like catching her in a lie. And that was a treat because Airden and I worked together on Gulag Girls. And so we were already super comfortable with each other and had done,
Yeah, that's great.
pretty intense. Like that was nothing compared to what that was. So we improved that entire scene. Like
Wow.
there were no lines. It was just feeding off of each other, which is really fun. With actors you've performed with before. Sandy was the same way. Sandy was in Kissing at the Grocery Store. Uh, and so that's how I knew of her when we were casting for teaching the long game. I'm like, oh my God, she's a pre-K teacher as a person. Like, not really, but like she gives kindergarten teacher energy. And we needed a teacher who is perceivably younger than me, but older than the students, and that's a tricky mix. Um, and then so that was what I did for Exiled, and then I even like held the camera and chased him around a little bit. I did a little camera op stuff, which I want
Oh,
to do more of now, because I like that visual part of it. I found some specific scenes for teaching long game, like with sunsets and stuff locally, that I started to get really I enjoyed that creative process.
yeah, that's
And
awesome.
then MS, my story, I was the doctor that gave Tanner the news of like what MS is and gives like an example of how to understand it.
Were you in Liberty at that place there? Is that where you filmed the
No,
hospital scene?
no, that was Shannon Russo.
No, no, I just didn't know if you because the doctor wasn't there when I got there, but I didn't get there when they first started. And they talked
No,
about people had been there and left. And so since you're
Oh,
a
I see.
doctor, I thought you maybe were there. No, I saw Shannon there and she was the nurse, I
Yeah.
thought. And
Yeah.
so yeah.
Well, and she did a voiceover as well for teaching the long game, which we were
Oh,
appreciative
that's cool.
for. So that was nice. Yeah,
Okay.
again, like you're just gonna run into the same people
You do
over and
run
over and
into the
over again.
same people all the time. I appreciate you saying it because it's like this is Topeka. We're in Topeka now. No, like honestly, like I've never met you, but we've
Hmm.
met so many of the same people, and we were in two of the
Yeah,
same things. Just right now, we've talked
right.
about two of the same things. So we've both been in a lot of scenes with Tanner.
Yeah, Tanner's pretty prolific.
Yeah, I've been with Tanner. I think I've been. I don't want to exaggerate. Let me see. I think four films of Tanner's.
Yeah.
Um,
I love him. He's great to work with.
He's great, actually. I really like Tanner. I think it's nice. His movies are some that you can actually watch. Like sometimes the horror stuff, I like some horror stuff. My wife will not watch it. So
Hmm.
those kind of movies she will watch, what Tanner does.
Yeah.
Um, and I would say he kind of focuses on college, coming of age. That's what a lot of his stuff is, like that what I've noticed,
Yeah.
which is good. He probably does more than that, but that's a big target. Um,
For sure.
so you've lived in Kansas City how long?
This is since 2020, so going on 6
2020.
years.
Yeah. Oh, that was beautiful moving during the pandemic.
It
I'm sure
was
it was
not. It was,
so
don't do it. It's a
beautiful.
trap. You have to
Well,
show your like driver's license every apartment you go to. It's a whole thing.
it's so funny. My wife worked with a lady who moved here and signed a 1-year contract, January
Hmm.
2020. And she was from Iowa. I don't know much about her, but she was going to be here, like make her new life in Kansas City. And she moved here in January 2020. And at the end of the year, like I'm sure it was such a disappointing year. She moved back to Iowa
Yeah.
after a year, moved back home because,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't meet people, you can't do anything. I mean, what a
No.
horrible year to move. If she'd have moved in January 2019, she'd probably still be here.
Yeah.
So yeah, so tell me about when
Yeah,
you
it
moved
is.
here. What was it like?
Gosh. Um, it was a lot because I was coming off of I'm deciding how honest I'm gonna get. Um
I can click not
I
made for kids if I need to, so it's okay.
um I'll be honest, I worked in private schools the first 7 years of my career. And the private school I was at in Manhattan had some leadership change, and they decided what they wanted was different than what they had, it seems. And so most of the teachers that I worked with there are no longer there. And the most I will say about it is I think it was handled very poorly. I know for me, I didn't know I was looking for a new school until I think it was April,
Wow.
somewhere
Well,
around
tell
in
me about
April.
your experience in 2020 coming here.
Yeah. And so what that set me up for was I was looking for a job and for housing.
Wow.
Like summer had pretty much already hit. And I don't know if you know anything about teaching jobs, but like that's real late
Yeah, usually
to be looking for
early
one.
February, March,
And
January.
then you're driving from Manhattan to go to like physical interviews, although I did some like Zoom interviews, which was better because that was starting to get more popular. Once I got a job and got here, the school was pretty much my only community because people weren't going places. They weren't going in public. I mean, it was the private school I was at here for a year was in person before everyone else was. And so it was really that community. And then they, after that year, pared down. They had to lower staff numbers because of tuition and things like that, which it was first in, first out. No hard feelings there. And that's what had me transition to public. And it gave me the actual time to like apply and do all the things. And that was when things started to open up. And so it really took about a year of just living here. Like I knew some people. It's not that far from like where other people I know live, but it was pretty isolating. It was pretty lonely other than like who you're with during the day. And it wasn't until that second year, third year, things started to open up. I joined Murder Mystery. That was really a big jump because the friends I made through that, friends like Jessica Whitfield and Mike Pohl and people that were connected in other areas too, like indie film, stage management, SP work. And so I really kind of followed their lead, and they were really welcoming and open with their networks, going to IFCKC meetings. Uh, that's where it really started take off.
Well, so do you go to all the IFCKC meetings?
All of them, no, but as many of them as I can. Um, Here recently, I've been doing the on-camera audition workshop with Heather Laird up at Right Laird Casting, and I know, and so it's on Wednesday nights, and so here for a few months, I haven't been able to go, and then it depends on if I have other shows, but if I don't have conflicts already on that night, yeah, absolutely.
Hey, what's been the most enjoyable project you've been involved with?
Ooh.
Feel free to give more than one or caveat.
Hmm. I have to say, it is probably either going to be. I keep pointing back to Gulag Girls, that Rising Tide Productions and friends of mine, Casey Jane and Shay Ketchum and Caitlin Barron, they did such a good job running that. Erica Baker was a wonderful director and just as a lovely person. All like everyone involved in that production was just a lovely person. Like we are still friends today. Like we just cheer each other on. There was no sense of competition, no sense of um like it was a very encouraging, welcoming, and also edifying environment because all of us, I remember the table read we did. They told us at the end, and apparently everyone left the table read in the beginning thinking they were the weak link because like all these other actors are so amazing. Like I gotta step it up, but we were all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Um, so I think I would point to that, and I point to it specifically because the effect it had to be doing a show with just genuinely wonderful people who like even with the very heavy topic and like abuse and things that happened in the story, we were all on the same page. We had the same level of commitment and just we were ready to do this thing together. And it was done in a very safe and supportive environment. And that is what I am aiming for. Everything else that I do and direct, those are the kind of environments, whether it's on stage or on set, that I want to create, where people feel collaborative, they feel welcome to voice concerns or opinions, and that we can lift each other up in what we're doing and not treat it as a competition because it's not. It's we might compete for different roles, but I would say that if a different actor gets the role, like you're not identical people, and so like to me it's different, not necessarily like you got first place, you got second place. That's not how casting works. And so I think the more we can remember in the arts industry that we are all in this together. And if you are someone people want to work with, and you are someone who's willing to learn and make mistakes and do better and cheer each other on, even when you're not the one that's center stage, I think everyone will benefit from that.
That was so beautiful that I have to derail. That was beautiful. It's going to be a clip for sure. The my question is, you've been here for several years.
Yeah.
Do you eat meat?
Yes, I
What's your
love meat.
favorite barbecue place? If you have to choose one,
Oh
somebody comes here and they say, I only have time for one. I can go to Kansas City North. I can go
no!
to Independence. I can go to Kansas City, Kansas, Olathe. Where are you going to choose?
Why would you do this to me?
I pretty
Um,
much do it to everybody. So
I figure, yeah, no, that's a bit I would totally reuse. Um, Gosh, I'm gonna it's one of two.
you can name them both, but what's your first one you name? That's
I'm
what I
gonna
count.
name them both. I'm gonna get some hate for the first one. It's fine. Technically, I really love Char Bar down in Westport.
You're not the first person to
Um,
say it.
I'm not good
No.
because normally I'm over here with my opinions and everyone else is like, "What?" I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I just don't like, I just like it. I think they have some really, really good um spare ribs and other things, and I like their sauces. Um, and then I would say Gates barbecue.
You're not the first to
I'm
say
not a
Gates
hu-
either.
I'm not huge on the vinaigrette barbecue.
Yeah.
I like my sweet and a little spicy.
Yeah, I think Gates has the best barbecue sauces. Pretty much been the consensus with people I've asked. But yeah, I would say Jack Stack is probably
Mm,
number one. Maybe Joe's a close second that people name, but
hmm.
sometimes people say Q39, Char Bar, or whatever, like a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Someone said Chef J,
Oh,
which I'd never heard of.
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, I think it's like on, I don't want to name the street, but it's where those haunted houses are. For
Oh
some
yeah,
reason,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can't think of the area.
Down
I
in
want to say West Bottoms. Yeah, it's somewhere
West
over there.
Bottoms, yeah.
Yeah. Um, how do you learn your lines? You talked a lot about when you have roles. What's your process?
So I am someone that memorizes really fast. I always have been.
Boo,
And
boo. No.
I know. No, really, like I say that as a disclaimer because I know that is just a skill I've always had, and so I don't want to misrepresent the methods I use. Like they work for me, but if they don't work for you, that's fine because I memorize fast, so that might be part of it. You might find another method that's better for you. But personally, I rehearse lines like I rehearse music. I think I've done so much like choral and music training that it's really impacted how I do line work, especially since I've been forced into scenarios where I had to memorize an obscene amount of lines in like a day or less or a couple hours. And so what I realized in being forced to do that is that one, I can, and two, that it is far more important for me to figure out where the links are that I'm missing rather than like I don't have the time to run through the whole thing like over and over and over and over again. And I think a lot of actors when they do stuff, they run all the stuff that they have down pat and they lose time to rehearse the stuff that they don't. And so just like in music, where if I were struggling with a particular couple measures, I would run those measures first to make sure I could sing it accurately, or in this case, say it accurately. I'd then go two measures ahead, so maybe a line or two ahead, and then say it with the music in front of me all the way through, and then get out of it from before to the part to after and then work that without memory. And every time you can't get all the way through and you don't know what it is, you go back to work the one thing, get into it, work out of it. Because you're training the connections, like cue lines, things like that. The other thing that is my pro tip that I give to everybody is there are apps. And you have to be careful with apps because who knows what data they're scraping and things like that. So you want to be careful, like where you upload things or to what. But even if you just voice record, I use an app where it will automatically pause for my lines. So it'll like computer speak the ones before me, and then it'll wait. I'll say my line, and then as right as I'm finishing it, usually, it will then say my line. And I can hear if I got it right or not, and then it will move on to the next line. I've also put blocking in. So I'll be like, blocking, like character, there's a character named blocking. And so
Mhm.
anything I have to do of like move stage left, exit this way, pick up shirt, blah, blah, blah. The whole show is basically an audio form. And I have to drive a lot because I do live on the Kansas side. So I live closer to the school I teach at in Lawrence than I do downtown. And
Mhm.
so if I've got a 40-minute drive, I can get through a whole show in one car ride, pretty much. And so
What's
that repetition of that time I'm already spending really works.
yeah, what's the name of the app that you use?
It's on Android, which will immediately frustrate a specific clientele of people, and I don't care because you're wrong.
Woo,
Um,
woo, woo.
Android. Um, but it is Script Memorizer, I believe.
Script
Yeah,
mentor.
script rehearser. But there's a lot of different ones. You just have to find one that you more or less trust or that works for you with the features it has. Um, but yeah, that like being able to capitalize drive time is a huge, huge, huge win.
That's awesome. And what questions did I not ask you that you were ready to answer?
Ooh, that's a good one. It's almost like you've done like, I don't know, 50 of these or something. Um, I don't think anything. I think you really hit most of it. I think if there's anything I would want to tell people, it's just, gosh, work together. Um, get out there and just do stuff and like get better and don't like look down on people for like doing that. Um, and I'm just really excited for what other opportunities and projects I'm going to get to be involved with. Recently got an agent, which is exciting. So getting some of that commercial world experience too.
That's awesome. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, hey, thank you for being on the KC Stars. I truly appreciate you.